Okay, so your first bet is sanding sponges. These are absolutely awesome. Usually they are for sanding walls and stuff like that. I will put links in the video description on everything where you can get them. Be careful because they do have a grit written on them, but usually they feel like they are a much higher grit than that. And the higher grits, you can find these at a fairly high grit, but then you want the much higher grits that usually you can find at the auto stores, and they are used for cars, for polishing the paint on cars. So let's do it first by hand. So I'm going to start with the lowest grit possible. And this is why I love the sanding sponges, because they are very easy to grip. And when you do the first sanding, the one that removes the biggest problems that are on the surface of the clay, it's much easier to use them. So just work your way from the lowest grit to higher grits until you start getting to the auto wet dry sandpaper, and end up with like at least a 1500. A 2000 or a 3000 would be the best. You can put a little bit of liquid dish soap in this, but it's just for getting more finesse surface. It doesn't really do much out of anything. For people who have hands problems or who don't want to work so much with their hands, you can use Polyfast. Now Polyfast has two types of heads. One is a straight hard one, and the other one is one with a little sponge that kind of contours. It's very neat because it contours on the beads. And the problem is that that sponge kind of loses that Velcro very easily, and you'll need super glue to put it back, otherwise you won't be able to put it in water anymore. And with Polyfast, again, go from the lowest grit until you reach the highest grit. Now let's go with the buffing. By hand, the easiest way is to just go to your local home improvement store and get a few samples of carpet. I know people say that denim is the best, but I can tell you that carpet is the best of all. Now you see that specific type of carpet, that is not very good. You need one that's much fluffier, like that one. Before I got any kind of electric power buffing tools, what I was doing, I would just get my beads, sit on the floor and just rub on the carpet. As you can see, you can get a decent buff. You probably, people with better hands than me, can get an even better buff than this. But of course, you can get a power tool. Number one would be to get a flex shaft for your Dremel. And you can use a mini buffing wheel for that. And I will show you at the end of the video exactly what to get, and also where to get them. Normally the flex shafts, you can find them for about $24 in a home improvement stores. I got mine for a little bit over $10 from Amazon. Also, you can get a mini bench grinder. You don't need big Fordham hundreds of dollars things. This one is about, it's under $50, and it also has a flex shaft. So it comes with a flex shaft. You will have to change the wheels on it, and I will also post links where you can get wheels. I have two kind of wheels, one that's a medium muslin and the other one that's a super fine muslin. Now pay attention to all those little threads that come out of the wheels. You want wheels preferably that are not very stitched, so they would be fluffier. And I will show you, I will tell you why pay attention to those threads. Let's turn on the mini bench grinder. Whenever you are using it to polish, never let your bead or whatever piece you're polishing stand still, because the polymer clay gets a little bit hot and those little threads might put grooves through it. Always place your piece between the middle, towards you, and the bottom middle of the wheel, and keep moving the piece all the time. Do not let it sit in one spot. Also, very important, do not press hard against the wheel. You are not sanding, you are buffing, so you need a very, very faint touch. Always keep your piece, hold it with both hands, and place underneath, if it's flatter, place underneath one of your fingers to press it slightly against the wheel. And it's a good idea to wear a face mask, especially if your wheels are brand new, because there will be a lot of little threads of cotton that will be flying. And because of that, it would be a good idea to wear protection safety glasses. I wear normal glasses, so I'm not bothered about that, but because of those little fibers that are floating in the air, as I said, especially when the wheels are brand new, when they are worn out, you won't have that much. Now let's do it with the flex shaft, and I will do a close-up of buffing. You'll have to find a way to place your Dremel so it wouldn't move around, because it's got vibration, of course, that if you don't want to spend money to buy a stand for it. But again, with it, just barely touch the piece. Do not press, because you're not trying to sand, you're not trying to remove anything from the surface of the piece, you're trying to polish it. So do what I was taught, do the butterfly kiss. It has to be gentle, like a butterfly landing on your finger. And here you have a close-up, and you'll see in some spots where I start, it's not shiny at all, and then as I am working on it, it starts getting shiny. And it's very, very easy. The flex shaft is actually more recommendable when you have rounded pieces, because those are kind of hard to do on the bench grinder or a jeweler's buffing, you know, like a Fordham. But anyway, this is pretty much how they would look like when they are buffed with a power tool. And you have this one that you've seen me doing. And oh, another thing, do not touch the surface that had just been polished, because again, the polymer clay gets slightly warmed up and you might leave fingerprints, so you might have to go sanding and buffing again. This one is a straight one that I did. One of the sides is done with the bench grinder, the other one is done with the flex shaft, and you can see, you cannot really tell which of them was done with what. And you can see it's a beautiful stone-like aspect that you can get. It doesn't matter what you're using. Now, if you're using a bench grinder, when buying your wheels, you have to pay attention to three things: the diameter of the wheel, the thickness, and the diameter of the shaft. So the diameter of the wheel is important because it has to fit. The thickness is also very important, and the shaft as well, because if you know, normally it should write somewhere there, like see on mine it says right here, it is in metric, but it's easy to transform. But on the right wheels, the ones that are finer, I actually have two of them, because just one cannot be screwed properly in place. For the flex shaft, look for these little wheels that are about 1 inch in diameter, and you can find them like that. I actually found some little wheels that are absolutely fabulous, and I will post the link. This is one of those that I was actually using. You see how much fluffier they are, and they do a beautiful job at polishing. Again, I will be putting some links in the description of the video where you can buy all this stuff. Also, when you get these little wheels, it will tell you that they are on a specific shaft, and I will show you how you practically install them. The flex shaft goes in the Dremel, and then to place the little buffing wheel, the flex shaft will come with several pieces that help you, tools that help you. One is a little key. It might look like this, it might look like an L-shaped piece of wire, but see, there's a little hole underneath there. Just turn it around until you see something lining up, and then just place that little key there, and that will hold the shaft in place so you can remove and change the little wheel. And they might have different shaft sizes. This specific one does not have a mandrel. It has a mandrel that's included in the head that's holding, but like the one on the mini grinder has a different type of mandrel. You see how this one is exactly like a drill bit holder from your drill. And you just tighten it up and you place your little buffing wheel. But the one on the mini grinder actually has exactly the same type of attachment that a regular Dremel has. Of course, you can use just your Dremel without a flex shaft, but trust me, it's going to be so hard to handle because it's big and heavy, and you cannot really do just the plain butterfly kiss touch. So you might have this other kind of attachment to place your wheel, and this is the regular head for the Dremel, and it has a mandrel inside of various sizes. I already had a whole bunch of mandrels because I've been using my Dremel for a lot of carving and a lot of engraving and a lot of other things. But essentially, see, that's what came with the flex shaft. This is for the flex shaft that you see here, and the other one is for the flex shaft for the mini bench grinder, and it comes with a spare head and a spare mandrel and a little wire brush to clean stuff. And that is what is called a mandrel. And as I said, you can find them of various sizes. You can use them with tiny jewelry, drill bits, and all kinds of other things. There is another way that you can use another tool. You can use your regular drill. You can buy one of these. I am not showing this to you because I would have to rearrange my whole work space, but you can buy this for a little bit over $2. Comes from China. It's going to take about 3 weeks to get to you, but it is absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the new ones I have. And you just get your drill to be somewhere safe and secure, and just place this in the drill and move your piece against it. So this is it. This is how you can buff and sand on a dime. Happy claying!